Episode 23, 24, Bobby's audio story. It's, you can tell back there, it's looking pretty good these days. At least no snow on the ground visible that you can see from the camera. It's a nice energy with the sun that's out. This week's story is gonna be kind of a description. So obviously this is all leading up to the book, The Planted Seed, that I wrote for my mom. That's coming out in June. But to kind of give you a background of what our family's about and how we grew up, I wrote a story to kind of give you an idea, and I hope you like it. It's called Screen Door. Looking through the screen door reminds me of my childhood, a time where money had less value than the love of family. The screen door used to be white with green trim, and it was the gateway to all of our family's activities. As I look back, the spring that was attached to that door made a sound much like a cat if you stepped on its tail. It was always an early warning sign to the ears of the family that someone was making their way into our lair. There was always joy and sadness that seeped through the foundation of love, but I suggest that it's impossible to truly appreciate the value of good times without the contrast of cloudy, stormy days. Waking up most mornings, the first thing that would cross our senses would be the smell of homemade food and the sounds of the radio that sat on the kitchen counter, playing our local radio station, sharing news, weather, and sports from around the area. There was something comforting about the consistency of the beginning of each day. When all 8 of us surrounded the red Formica dining table, there was always laughter and needling of one another, and a cat named Blackie that sat underneath, waiting for scraps to drop to the floor, or even scratching you, demanding nourishment if you dared put your hand beneath the apron of the table. The second week in August each year, my mother and father scraped a few dollars together, not to take us to Disneyland. Their pockets were not that deep. We would load up the camping gear, and 8 of us would pile in the Chevrolet Impala station wagon. We would then drive 90 minutes to Ricker Pond, a campground in the middle of the Groton State Forest in Groton, Vermont. I remember it seemed to take forever as the youngest in the family. I would always ask my dad, "Are we close?" His response was always, "Just around the next corner." Man, I never knew there could be so many next corners. The time I spent at that pond was filled with many magical memories and discoveries, times I would not exchange for any experience that my more wealthy acquaintances were having on their summer vacations. But when we returned home, it would be almost time for school. To begin shopping for school clothes was next on my mom's to-do list. As a lower middle class family of 6 kids, new clothes were either what my mom could find at the budget department store, styles that you were never quite proud of because they truly painted a picture that you were exactly who you were. The other option was hand-me-downs that my mom would sew, patch, and make as good as possible. Sometimes that was the more envied choice. Holidays were always festive, always full of family and the love of grandparents and aunts and uncles. Everyone bringing their special dish that each was more proud of than the kids found delicious. One Thanksgiving, we had 14 people over for the holiday. I finished early and went exploring around the house and tried something I had always been curious about as a 5-year-old. I wondered if I could fit in the family clothes dryer. After making an uneducated 5-year-old decision to try to enter butt first, I found myself stuck with no ability to extract myself from this unenviable situation. I thought I heard my brother close by, so I loudly whispered, enough to get his attention, but not loud enough for the others to hear about my embarrassing position. He came, snickered a bit about the circumstances I was in, then walked away to get all 12 others to come laugh at his little brother being stuck in a dryer. Like he was the barker at a carnival, excitedly encouraging an audience to come see something bizarre. After everyone had their after-dinner entertainment, he pulled me out. One might categorize these memories as either good or bad, but to me they are marks on the timeline that defines my life. Ones you can't change, and most I wouldn't. My mother passed away 15 years ago this summer, my oldest brother in October 2023, and the following January, my next oldest brother and my dad passed within a week of one another. Sadness and appreciation for the experiences shared and the moments embraced with love filled our hearts. The weeks following the passing of my father, what was left of the family, spent time together going through memories and cleaning out the family home to sell it, hopefully to a family that will make new memories better than ours. But I think that would be difficult. Now I walk through that screen door one last time, knowing all I will have from this point forward will be these fond memories of dark, light, and the kaleidoscope of emotions that I only have the ability to embrace, not to judge the correctness of any of those moments, just to appreciate the love shared at a point of my past when love of family had more value than money. The story kind of warms the cockles of my heart, as they say in Ireland. It reminds me of a lot of great times growing up in a house that was an old house with lots of really good energy, and I miss a lot of that. I miss a lot that now that Kenny and Reggie and Dad and Mom are all gone, and the house has been sold, and all I can do really is drive by it. That last walk out that screen door was probably something I'll never forget. Anyways, just getting closer and closer. Or I have some news about new website launched this week. www.robertdegree.com, and that has all the latest on the planted seed. It also has some short stories that I read to you, but some that quite haven't made it to this show, lack of a better way to say it. And they're there. One of which I wanted to have tonight for my dear friend Lisa, who grew up in our neighborhood. But I thought, it's one of those judgment decisions at the time, what I feel. And the one that I wanted her to hear is, we'll do it next week. It's called Blue Skies and Butterflies, about a young woman who sees only the sunshine and never the darkness. And that's something for you to look forward to for next week. RobertDegree.com has a link to the YouTube channel. It has a link to the Facebook. Again, I would love to see more and more subscribers the closer we get to the book. Oh, also on the website there is public appearances. So as they start to get solidified for the book, I'll list those there so you can come out, and if you bought a book, I'll sign it. If you just want to talk, I'm happy to talk too. So anyways, it's Friday. I know I say that every week, but it's the weekend. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.